I made terrible decisions in university. I picked the wrong friends, fell for bad advice, wasted months going in completely the wrong direction. All because I never stopped to think. Like actually think. Not just react. Not just feel. But genuinely question what was in front of me. And here's the wild part. Critical thinking isn't some superpower that only philosophers or scientists have. It's a skill. And like any skill, you can get better at it. Starting today. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 practical tips that will genuinely sharpen the way you think. Tips that change how I make decisions, how I have conversations, and honestly, how I see the world. Stay with me till tip number 5, because that one quietly changed everything for me. 1. Question the question itself. But it's probably the most underrated thinking habit I've ever developed. Question the question itself. Here's what I mean. Most of us, when we face a problem, we jump straight into answering it. Someone asks, should I quit my job? And immediately our brain goes into solution mode. Pros and cons, spreadsheets, asking friends. But what if the question itself is wrong? Maybe the real question isn't, should I quit my job? Maybe it's, why does my job make me feel this way? Or what would actually make me feel fulfilled? I remember sitting in my second year of medical school, completely burnt out. I kept asking myself, how do I get through this? And I was so focused on surviving that I never asked the more important question, is this actually the right path for me? When I finally questioned the question, everything shifted. So here's the habit. Before you try to solve anything, pause, just 30 seconds, and ask yourself, am I solving the right problem? This single habit will save you from spending enormous energy going in completely the wrong direction. 2. Seek to Steelman, not Strawman. Okay, this one is a game changer for relationships, debates, and honestly, just being a better human. You've probably heard of a Strawman argument, where instead of addressing what someone actually said, you attack a weaker, distorted version of it. We all do this, especially when we're emotionally invested in being right. But the opposite of that is called steelmanning, and it's where critical thinking gets really powerful. Steelmanning means you take the strongest possible version of the opposing argument, not the weakest, and then you engage with that. I used to argue a lot, with my friends, online, with family. And I was really good at winning arguments by picking apart the weakest parts of what people said. I thought that made me smart. It didn't. It just made me close-minded and, honestly, kind of annoying. When I started practicing steelmanning, genuinely trying to understand the best case for the other side, something strange happened. I started learning more. I started changing my mind more. And people actually started respecting my opinions more because I wasn't just dismissing theirs. Here's the practice. Next time someone disagrees with you, before responding, ask yourself, what's the most intelligent, reasonable version of what they're saying? Engage with that, not the easy target. That's how real thinking works. 3. Slow down your first reaction. This one's uncomfortable, so bear with me. Our first reaction to almost anything is almost never our best reaction. We live in a world that rewards speed. Fast takes. Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it now, has basically built an entire culture around reacting before thinking. And that's genuinely dangerous for your mind. Here's something I learned from reading Daniel Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Slow, a book I genuinely think everyone should read at some point. He talks about 2 systems in our brain. System 1 is fast, emotional, automatic. System 2 is slow, deliberate, logical. Most of us live almost entirely in System 1. And System 1 feels right. It feels confident, but it's riddled with bias. I had a situation a few years ago where a close friend said something in a group chat that I completely misread. My first reaction was anger. I was ready to fire back, but something made me wait. I slept on it. And the next morning, I reread the message and realized I'd completely taken it out of context. It meant something totally different. That tiny pause saved a friendship. So the habit here is simple. Create a gap between stimulus and response. When you feel a strong reaction coming, anger, excitement, fear, pause. Count to 10. Sleep on it if you can. Ask yourself, am I reacting or am I thinking? That gap is where your best thinking lies. 4. Follow the evidence, not the story. Humans are storytelling machines. We don't naturally think in data or logic. We think in narratives. And that's mostly beautiful, but it can seriously mess with your ability to think clearly. Here's what happens. Someone tells you a compelling story, and suddenly all your critical thinking shuts off. Because the story feels true. It sounds true. It connects emotionally. This is literally how misinformation spreads. It's how bad products get sold. It's how cults recruit people. I know, dramatic, but it's true. I remember getting really excited about a business opportunity a few years back. A friend pitched it to me with incredible energy and a genuinely inspiring story. I was almost ready to invest money I didn't really have, until I stopped and asked one simple question. Where's the actual evidence? Not the anecdotes, not the testimonials, the real, verifiable data. And when I looked, there wasn't much. So the habit here, whenever you're about to make an important decision, separate the story from the evidence. Ask yourself, is this compelling because it's true or because it's told well? These are very different things. And learning to spot the difference will protect you more times than you can imagine. 5. Change your mind out loud, on purpose. I really want you to stay for this one because it's the one I wish someone had told me when I was 18. We live in a world where changing your mind is seen as weakness. Flip-flopping, being inconsistent. People get mocked for it online. Politicians get destroyed by it. So over time, we all learned, consciously or not, to defend our positions rather than examine them. And that's one of the most dangerous habits a human mind can develop. Because if you can never change your mind, you can never grow. Full stop. The smartest people I've met in my life, doctors, entrepreneurs, researchers, great teachers, they all share one trait. They say, I was wrong, with almost no ego attached to it. They update their beliefs when the evidence changes. They don't cling to old ideas just because those ideas used to be theirs. So here's the challenge I want to give you, and I do this myself regularly. Once a week, deliberately find something you believe and seriously try to challenge it. Read the opposing view. Talk to someone who disagrees. Follow the evidence wherever it goes. And when you find yourself wrong about something, and you will, say it out loud. Not just to yourself, to someone else. I used to think X, but I've changed my mind. Now I think Y. Here's why. This one practice does two things. It trains your brain to hold ideas loosely, which is the foundation of good thinking. And it builds a kind of intellectual courage that is genuinely rare. It's not weakness. It's the most powerful thing a thinking person can do. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Thinking clearly is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most honest person in the room, starting with yourself. If you found this useful, the most helpful thing you can do is share it with one person who you think needs to hear this. That's it. No big ask. And if you want to go deeper on thinking better and building a life you actually enjoy, the next video right there is a great place to start. I'll see you there. Take care.